Congresswoman, let me just ask you about a little bit of your rhetoric that I'll be honest with you, I find a little bit worrisome, and give you a chance to address it. Because this is a nonpartisan position for which you are being nominated, and I realize you've been in partisan politics, and that's fine. I'm in partisan politics, but that's not this position. So let me just ask you about a thing or two that you've said that I find a little worrisome. Let's start with the democracy one. We heard a lot of talk in this most recent election now concluded about Republicans, and particularly the now president-elect, being a fascist, which I think is incredibly irresponsible rhetoric. You said things like that, I think, Congresswoman. Kamala Harris believes in democracy. Donald Trump does not. What's left to say? That's just from a little over a month ago, 2 months ago, September 10th. Do you want to address that? Just give me your perspective. Give us your perspective for the record about how you see this role, about this rhetoric. Let me just give you a chance to respond. And there's one more I want to ask you about after this.
And I thank you for that, Senator Hawley. You know, having served as a law enforcement officer, as a police chief, certainly as a member of Congress, I've certainly had opinions about the behavior of individuals on both sides of the aisle. But what I can assure you is that whether as a law enforcement officer or as a member of Congress or as a member of the Board of Governors, that my political opinions will never negatively impact the work that is before us on this very bipartisan board. Matter of fact, I currently travel all over the country, asked to do so, along with former Republican members, to talk about the importance of working together in a bipartisan way. I believe it is the only way that we can get the big things done. And strengthening the post office is a big thing that we need to get done.
Last question for you on the same topic. Let's look at the other one. This is about the current president-elect's ability, constitutional right to serve. You said after the Civil War, we ratified the 14th Amendment. It says people try to overthrow the government should be banned. Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government. This was in reference to the cases that tried to get the former president, now future president, kicked off the ballot. I'm deeply concerned about those cases. They failed, as you know. The U.S. Supreme Court weighed in on this 9-0, said absolutely not. This is up to the people to decide. My question for you is that since this time, since you said that, he's been reelected. He's going to be the next president. If you're confirmed for this, you're going to serve under him effectively. Are you able to do that? And just comment on this, which you said, and your potential future role.
Senator Hawley, when President Trump was first elected in 2016, he was not my candidate. But I went to his inauguration because the American people had spoken. And I wanted to, in a very unified way, be there to support the President of the United States because the people had spoken. I believed it was a free and fair election, and it was important for the country to move forward. I was in the House chambers on January 6th. As you well remember, it was a tough time for our nation, I think, for the members of Congress and the American people. Expressing my opinion coming out of that very tough time, we moved forward. The same person has been reelected. The American people have spoken, and I respect the will of the people. Again, I can assure you that any personal opinions or things that were said during a specific time in our history will not negatively impact my commitment to working with the Board of Governors to protect and strengthen the United States Postal Service so those people who live in rural areas that we both care about can receive the service that they deserve.
Upbeat background music fades in. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a Senate hearing featuring Senator Josh Hawley and a former Democrat Congresswoman nominated for the U.S. Postal Service Board of Governors. This discussion touches on nonpartisanship, democracy, and the future of the Postal Service. Let's break it down in key points. Stick around because you don't want to miss the full story. And if you love straightforward, no-fluff summaries like this, hit that subscribe button and join the family. First up, Senator Hawley didn't waste any time. He questioned whether the nominee could leave her partisan background behind in a role meant to serve the nation impartially. This position is on a bipartisan board, and Hawley made it clear that past rhetoric, which he described as divisive, was a concern. He specifically brought up her comments about democracy and former President Trump, calling them irresponsible. This set the stage for some heated but thoughtful exchanges. In response, the nominee assured the Senate that her political opinions wouldn't interfere with her duties. She highlighted her track record, including working with Republicans across the aisle, to show her commitment to bipartisanship. She also stressed the importance of strengthening the Postal Service and described it as a mission that transcends politics. It's not about red or blue, it's about delivering for all Americans. Hawley then revisited her past remarks, including statements that suggested Trump was a threat to democracy. She didn't deny her words, but instead offered context. She explained that they reflected a tense time in U.S. history, particularly after the January 6 Capitol events. But here's the key. She assured the committee that these opinions would not affect her ability to work under President Trump, who has since been re-elected by the people. The Congresswoman also spoke about being in the House chambers during the January 6 events, describing it as a moment that deeply impacted her. She made it clear that while the past shaped her perspective, it would not dictate her future actions in this role. Her focus now? Ensuring that rural communities receive the postal services they deserve. She emphasized her dedication to working with the Board of Governors to strengthen the postal service for all Americans. To wrap up her testimony, she reiterated her respect for the democratic process and the will of the people. She promised that her personal opinions would stay out of the boardroom. Her mission? To serve impartially, effectively, and with the best interests of the American people in mind. So there you have it, key takeaways from this important hearing. It's clear that this nominee is making a strong case for her ability to serve without partisanship, despite a controversial past. What do you think? Can she leave politics out of this critical role? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the biggest stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.